Hi, my name is Jarle Rui Aadna, and I work in the Royal Danish Library in Copenhagen. I'm going to talk about two independent cultural institutions in one reading room, the merger process of Danish National Archives and Royal Danish Library's reading room functions. I'll share my screen. Here is a picture of the old reading room in the Royal Danish Library. It was built in 1906. And here's another picture, and this is of the Black Diamond that opened in 1999. It's an additional building to the old building at the Royal Danish Library. And suddenly, when the Diamond opened, we suddenly had several specialized reading rooms, like the Center for Manuscripts, History of Books, a Center for Music and Theatre, one for Orientalia and Judaica, and one for Maps and Pictures. And then there was a general Reading Room West, and then a Reading Room East for periodicals and newspapers. And the reading rooms were placed here in the atrium inside Diamond, with 390 seats to the left and to the right, or to the east and west, as we prefer to say. It seemed like we didn't have enough customers for all these users. So suddenly or slowly, one by one, would merge into the big general Reading Room West. The last that merged with the Center for Manuscripts and Rare Books and Dansk Folkemindesamling in 2018. We solved this by having and putting the entrance here, and then this is the circulation desk where there would be two librarians. They would decide whether our guests should sit in the open area or whether they should enter this specially surveyed area where there would be an additional librarian. And this is a picture of the Reading Room West. We believe the security quality was improved, and we were satisfied with keeping surveyed material in one place in the building. Now, in 2018, the talk of merging Danish National Archives and Royal Danish Library's reading room functions occurred. And at the time, the National Archives had their reading room in the library garden close to the Royal Library. This is the entrance, and the reading room was placed inside here in this beautiful building. And this is from inside the reading room. There was a guard by the entrance, and there was a help desk placed inside of the reading room. And the National Archives also have other reading rooms located elsewhere in Denmark. And this is from above. Here is the National Archives old reading room. This is the library garden. This is the old reading room of the Royal Library, and this is the Black Diamond. And it's possible to walk from here to here. So leaders began meetings and discussions about this project. And of course, there was focus on security, but also on the different cultures of the two reading rooms. The reading rooms of the National Archives were more lively, where one would discuss and walk around and talk to people in the help desk. Whereas at the Royal Library, the research reading room would be very, very quiet. So after Arkitema Architects and Innoba had won the tender of this project, they began interviewing our users. And this is a picture of one of our users looking through a stack of pamphlets. And she was asked questions like, how do you use the current reading room? Imagine a visit to the reading room. What do you do first? Where do you go then? What do you do then? What is most important to you in the design of a new reading room? If you were to imagine the best reading room in the world, what would it contain? The staff was also interviewed, the staff and project groups, and one of the first focus points was who are our user groups. And you see some of our users listed here. Innoba pre-printed some card for us to play with. And this is one of the curious one from the National Archives. She's called Beate. She's a pensioner. There's a picture of her. And there's an info box to the right that tells about her needs. And another card here is the Tivoli visitor from the Royal Library. And the Tivoli visitor is someone who visits the Tivoli Gardens, sorry. And at the same time would like to have a glimpse of, for example, a manuscript by H.C. Andersen. And when we put our user groups up on the wall, it seemed like that we nearly had them all in common, except from one group, which was officials and journalists to seek certain documents from the National Archives. And was that a surprise to us? I think it was to some. Old institutions like ours would like to think that our users are unique, but they were not so. Another thing we could agree on, the staff could agree on at the workshops, was the 10 commandments of security. And those were that the security element should be visible to all users, no point in hiding them. Everyone should be controlled at the entrance. Employees should be able to see all seats. All material should be supervised, clearly divisioned, tables with numbers. There should be clear boundaries of zones and controlled traffic, especially between particularly surveyed and less surveyed zones. As little transport of specially surveyed material into the reading room as possible. No hidden corners. And then we wanted camera surveillance. And then we started working with the elements inside of the reading room. The staff were represented by architects, transport people, security people, archivists, librarians, people working in the stacks, etc. And there were two main different scenarios. Should we have like a common solution, or should we have completely separate functions inside of the reading room? So we discussed the layout of the reading room, where to place what functions are crucial, and what can go outside of the reading room. And you see here the blue squares are, they represent the National Archives, and the green ones, the Royal Danish Library. Later on, we were presented to a 3D model that made it possible for us to simulate where to place certain functions more accurately. And where to place the staff, where to place our users, to see the different security zones, and where to place the handbooks, the shelves, the scanners, and the information desk of the National Archives. You see here a circulation desk and the stairs that go up to the other level. These represent handbooks of the National Archives and handbooks of the Royal Danish Library. We also held information meetings for our users and presented the model as you've just seen. So we opened up for discussions and to pose questions, and we could also write down good ideas and put them on this wall of wishes. And later on, they were photographed and then discussed in the project group. We also worked with virtual reality models. The reading room was photographed from several angles. And this is the result. This is the reading room. This is a guard standing at the entrance with a chair. This function was new to the Royal Library. And this has made it possible for the staff to try to move around in the model to discover obstacles, blind angles, etc. And was very useful to avoid building unnecessary structures. For example, this plinth here was removed because it was in the way. This is from inside of the reading room, the guard is standing at the other entrance. This is seen from the circulation desk. And then a librarian standing to the left here, wishing welcome. And to the other side, we see more librarians and archivists. And at the back here, we see the special help desk for the National Archives, which is placed behind glass. These are the stairs up to the other level. And this is again another model of the reading room, both floors. In summer 2019, the reading room was emptied, and we made a temporary research reading room on another level in the building. 70,000 volumes of the reference collections was moved to other reading rooms, and this is one of the stickers left from the books that you see here on the floor. The building period lasted until January 2020, and this is a picture from Christmas where you can see scaffoldings inside of the reading room. And then in January 2020, in the beginning of January, we began moving in, and we reused our old chairs with new covers, and we reused some of the tables as well, and then also the lamps. We had new shelves, some of them with extra place below for the state archive trolleys. And this is a picture of the tables where we reused the lamps. It has numbers on it, both placed here and on the top. And well, the tables were plain with no extra details. And then behind this table is a metal curtain, which is used as a separator for people passing by not to walk into this area. The handbook collection was placed on the upper floor, one for the National Archives and one for the Royal Danish Library. And we also held security lessons before the opening, where we discussed cases, so video examples. A lot of attention was drawn to unusual behavior. And then, of course, we also discussed technical solutions. This is Klaus Friis to the right here, who instructs people from both institutions on security. And we also invited staff to request material and act like users, especially to challenge us with tricky questions and complicated requests so that we could be well dressed for the opening. And this is a glimpse into the research reading room. These are not ordinary guests. These are the architects who try out the chairs and the tables. And then in January 27th, on January 27th, the reading room opened. It was attended by the Minister of Culture, Joy Mogensen, and the directors of both institutions, Sven Larsen and Anne-Sophie Jensen. The reading room was open to everyone until 12, where it turned into a real research reading room. And this is what it looks like when someone hands out material. This is a person from the Royal Danish Library who hands out something from the photo collection to a user. And then you see the shelves behind, and then in the background, two employees from the National Archives. So we have one reading room, we have two institutions inside of it. We have different online catalogs, different lending systems, we have different shelf systems, but we have one circulation desk, and we have several common user groups, and we have one way of handling security issues. Thank you for the attention.